Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Engine Room podcast. We are here yet again, as always, on the Monday, and today we've got a big episode, quite a special episode, actually. We've got a lot to get through. Of course, it was Clásico weekend, which, of course, we're going to have a lot to say on. It was Liverpool versus City, some other big football too, but of course, those two main games are the ones we're going to be discussing. Without any further ado, John, welcome back to the pod again, my friend.
Yes, indeed. Hello. Excited for today's chat.
We got Buga with us as well, and Buga, before you introduce yourself also, you've got Diego to introduce too, so please take over, Buga.
Yeah, very well. ¿Cómo están, guys? Today we have a very special guest, someone that's going to be helping us a lot throughout this next month of World Cup content, and that is a good friend of mine, Diego Montalban. Diego, why don't you introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about yourself before we move on?
What's going on, mi gente? Thank you. First of all, thank you guys for having me. It's actually a pleasure to be with you. I've seen some of the content you guys have been putting out, and I think it's going to be great. The stuff that we're going to be able to create together. As you mentioned, my name is Diego Montalban. I am a journalist that works for Telemundo Deportes right now, currently in the USA. So we have the rights to the World Cup as well as the rights to the Premier League. So I'm doing a lot on that. Other than that, I do a lot of freelance for other companies internationally, in Peru, in England. I've done some stuff. So just very excited to get this going because it's going to be a crazy next couple months.
Yeah, I think I didn't mention, but Diego is also from Peru. So he's a compadre, someone who's from the same nation. But anyhow, so what we're going to be doing, plenty of interviews with journalists and friends of Diego that he has been able to contact. Hopefully we can get some more. We're going to go into every single World Cup nation. So each of the 32 teams going to the World Cup, we're going to be trying to get an interview of each and every single one of them. And we're also doing some shorts, YouTube, you can say TikToks, Instagram Reels. So we're going to be previewing as well so that you can get to know the teams in less than 60 seconds. And to do that, we are going to divide ourselves into each of us different nations, each of us 9 teams. And we're going to be trying to become the experts of those nations for the next few weeks so that whenever we get into the preview, once the World Cup starts, each and every single one of us knows a little bit more about different nations. So I have here right now, hopefully you guys are going to be able to see it as well. I'm going to put it later in post-editing. We have a table. We already have some countries divided, of course. John is going to be covering the USA because that's his bread and butter. And Pablo, even though he's from England, he has I'm from Spain.
Behave.
Pablo is going to be doing Spain, okay? Pablo is from Spain. He's Spanish, even though his accent is nothing Spanish, but he's going to be Spanish. And Diego has already been doing some content, so he's going to be having already in the back Qatar, Canada, and Iran. So those already 5 countries are out. And since I don't have a country yet, do you guys will let me have the first pick here in this draft to choose a country I would like to cover?
Absolutely not. No, I'm joking.
Let me just add, guys. I don't think there's any other media in the world that will cover all 32 countries because, I've worked in this industry for a long time, and every media has to be, I don't want to say biased, but they have to kind of go towards their region, right? Like, for example, me and Telemundo Deportes, we're going to cover the Spanish countries because that's our bread and butter. And obviously, in England is going to cover a little bit more European. So I don't think anyone goes deep into all 32 countries. And that's what we're going to try to do. And that's what we're going to try to bring all the folks that are going to be watching the content.
Yes, very well said. So can I start? Yes, people?
Take it over, Buga.
I'm going to pick Argentina because I just want Argentina. I'm going to pick Argentina. I want to cover Argentina. I think it's
right off the top, taking maybe everyone's number 1 draft pick, I think.
Yeah. So
he's taking Leo.
Yeah. Why don't we go with you, Pablo? Why don't you?
Me? Oh.
Apart from Spain, pick one.
I'm going to snatch up a team that is also in Spain's group, which I think it'll be relevant. A weird one. Or shall I? I'm going to take Germany.
I thought you were going to pick Japan.
I don't want to say. I'm going to take Germany.
Okay.
I'm going to take Germany. I've got 2 big dogs there.
John, your turn.
Ooh, on to me, huh? I'm also wondering, like, there's a couple of unique ones that I want to get, but there's also a few big names that I want to be able to cover too. Oh, this is tough. I don't mean to hold
go
things
for the
up.
big ones first. Go for the big ones first.
Go for the big ones first. Okay. Well, then Brazil. Brazil.
Ooh, Brazil.
Yes, indeed.
That's a good matchup. U.S. and Brazil. I like that.
Buga, I think you should go again so everyone can have 2 because I already have 3. So I mean, I don't want to.
Okay.
Diego's sitting pretty there.
I think you should do like NBA, right? So now I get 2 picks because that's how it goes.
Oh, what is this? What is this? He's rigging it.
I'm gonna go for my boy Frankie. I'm gonna go for the Netherlands. And do you allow me one more pick or no? How are we doing this?
If you want one more pick, then have it. Yeah. Then
Okay.
we'll level it all up on 3. Go on.
Yeah.
Go. Yeah. Okay.
I'm between 2 countries. You know what? I'm gonna go for an outside shout. I'm gonna go for Serbia. I like Serbia.
Okay.
Wow.
I like that.
Okay, then why don't John go?
Back to me, huh? I'm going to go with, you know what? I'll go Portugal.
Okay.
Dude, you're going all
Yeah,
out.
low curveball.
Yeah. Portuguese. Pablo?
I'm going to take Switzerland.
Okay, chocolate. Okay.
All right.
And now, Diego, you go ahead because you need one more. We're all level on 3. Your turn.
I'm going to go with the first World Cup winners, Uruguay.
Oh, okay, I like that. Now, back to you, John.
I'm going to go Cameroon.
Okay.
Okay, I like
that.
that.
Cameroon.
Paulo?
Back to me again. Wow.
Yeah, let's do it in order. Just like bang, bang, bang.
I'm gonna take Mexico.
Mexico. Okay.
That hasn't been taken, has it?
No.
Okay.
I swear the names are gonna kill me, but I'm going Japan. I like Japan. Yeah.
Japan. All right.
Yeah. Now, Diego.
I'm going to go with Ecuador, who I think will surprise Group A.
Let's do it fast. John.
I'm going to go Australia.
Okay, thank God me and Diego don't have that. we would have rigged that one.
Yeah.
Sorry, boys.
Pablo, your
Costa
turn.
Rica.
What's that? Dude, you're doing the whole of group. I don't know which group is it.
I wanna become. I want to be. I can't believe you've snatched Japan off me. I want to become a master at Spain's group. I want to be like Luis Enrique's number 2.
Dude, okay, I'm gonna go Denmark. Now, Diego, let's do it in order. So Diego, John, Pablo, me. Let's like continue flowing like that.
I'm gonna go with
Diego.
France. No one's got France, right? No.
Yeah, they haven't. Wow.
Well,
Yeah, that one lingered there for a minute.
What have we been doing?
I know.
nobody wants France. It's the Mbappe conundrum. Nobody wants him.
All right, on to me then. Did anybody take England yet?
No. Oh, I wanted to say England.
Oh my god!
Yeah, England stole it from you, Booga.
Okay.
Ooh.
Pablo.
Has anyone taken Ghana?
No.
Aye.
I'll have Ghana.
Beat me to it.
I'm
Sorry.
gonna have myself a little bit of Senegal.
Okay. Has anyone gotten
Yeah.
Belgium?
No.
Belgium?
Oh,
There you go.
Are we okay?
yeah, there was like, I don't want to do research. I'm just going to take the countries I know.
I've been doing so much research. I'm just like,
Leave them alone.
Yeah.
All right, let's go Croatia then.
Okay. Pablo?
I'll have Morocco.
Morocco. That's a good one. I'm gonna have. Which countries have not been picked?
You want me to give you a quick rundown?
No, I have them here, but let me just. I'm gonna go with. Oh no, those names are even harder. I'm gonna go with Poland.
I was gonna say
Lewa.
Yeah, Lewa.
I'll go with Korea? Anyone pick Korea?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
Korea.
John.
All right, let's see. Korea's gone. I don't think I have a lot of options.
Mm.
I'll go Tunisia.
Okay. 2 more countries left, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah, for me, I've got 2 left. Yeah.
Yep.
Is it my go?
Yep.
Have Wales been taken? Was that one of
No.
the teams that? Okay, I'll have Wales.
Dude, I'm gonna have a struggle saying the names, dude. Saudi Arabia for me.
Yes, indeed.
So, quick rundown. Diego has Qatar, Canada, Iran, Uruguay, Ecuador, France, Belgium, and Korea. John has USA, Brazil, Portugal, Cameroon, Australia, England, Croatia, and Tunisia. Pablo has the whole of Group E almost in Spain, Germany, Switzerland, Mexico, Costa Rica, Ghana, Morocco, and Wales. And I have Argentina, Netherlands, Serbia, Japan, Denmark, Senegal, Poland, and Saudi Arabia. So, before we close this chapter of the episode, does anyone want to do a swap?
Oh, trades on the table.
Yeah,
Give me Japón.
You want
Give me
Japón?
Japón. Pablo says.
Dude,
Or
okay.
do you wait? Do you want to give them up or not?
The thing is that I like Japan. Like I really
No,
like the players
you
that are coming through. I don't
you do Japan.
Pablo,
Yeah,
dangle a carrot for him. Give him something to be tempted by. I'm sure you got something in your list there.
Oh, I mean, oof. What am I willing to give up in this list?
Good list.
Yeah, oof. You can have Wales.
No.
Last
Sorry,
pick.
Will.
Last
I once met a girl in uni. I sat next to her and I was like, "Where are you from?" And she's like, "From Wales." And she's like, "Yeah, there's nothing. I cannot comment about Wales. We only have Gareth Bale and like a dragon." That's
Aaron Ramsey.
Yeah,
Aaron
she
Ramsey.
said
There you
that.
go.
There's nothing to visit in Wales. Just Gareth Bale.
Wow.
Are we done now? By the way.
Yeah.
That's all the teams.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so let's stick with it. I think no one wants to change now.
No. Okay.
I feel good.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna leave it there. And guys, like we mentioned, we're gonna be doing 60-second clips. Hopefully, one of them will be coming up soon. We're gonna be seeing maybe we can partner with somebody. Who knows? But yes, we're gonna continue with it, and I'll just let Diego decide. Do you have a little more time? Do you want to stay with us? Maybe talk a little bit of Clásico. That's our next topic, or Ballon d'Or. Whenever your time is up, you can leave. We know you're a busy man, so decide.
The only reason I would have to go is because I have to get ready for this next interview. We were going with Iran today, so we gotta get on it. So yeah, I'm sorry guys. If not, but once the World Cup starts, we're here. Be here the whole time.
Yeah, leave them wanting more, Diego. That's the strategy.
Right. That's right.
Leave them one.
Love it.
Okay. So see you, Diego. Take care.
Take care, man.
Yeah, Diego.
Bye.
Oh, so after that World Cup frenzy, John, take the lead back to the regular programming. Bring it back. Bring the sadness.
Yes, indeed. Hello, darkness, my old friend. We are back to the gloomy days for Barcelona. We thought we were out. We really did, right? We got pretty optimistic there. But this past week, I think we saw a reality check for Barcelona fans. So Xavi is under a lot of scrutiny right now. I know I tried to stand up for him the best that I could after the Inter match, but we've seen a number of flaws now that people are starting to point out. So, Buga, let's start with you. What did Xavi get wrong in El Clásico?
Well, if we start directly with, I think, the lineup, I think he got it wrong. I think he got it wrong. I put a tweet on my Twitter, and and I decided to pin it there because I just think that is for me the best way to explain what I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling that Xavi has the right roadmap. He has the right roadmap to get Barcelona back into place. But I'm not too sure whether he understands or has the tools right now at his disposal to be able to read that roadmap or follow it at the best of his abilities. And I think that is where we're struggling a bit. So let's wait and see what really happens after that. Because I think that in 1-2 more seasons, maybe we could really be seeing what Xavi wants to have as a fully fit Barcelona squad. I think there's a very interesting parallel between him and Arteta, for instance, where just the club was so bad at one point that he needs to be able to start shifting the pieces that for him just doesn't really work. But there's one aspect that I do feel worries me. And like you say, what did Xavi got wrong? And I feel that somehow with those pieces, he's still kind of like blinded by the narrative that kind of what would work or not. And for me, I just want to put on the table, I think that Busquets wasn't a player for this game. I think that Roberto wasn't a player for this game. And he's more caught up in the idea of what should ideally be happening rather than what actually he has on his proposal and must do in the right moment. And I think that is where there's a difference. I think Arteta kind of understood, for instance, oh, these pieces don't work. Aubameyang don't work. I need to get them out of the squad. But maybe Xavi is like, okay, I do need these pieces still. I need Busquets, I need Roberto, I need whatever players. Of course, it's also for availability, but I'm just a little bit torn there. And I feel that he needs still to learn a little bit more about what he actually needs. Or now maybe this period of October will make Xavi think a lot more about his project and his vision. I think he will have a sit down with his coaching staff and really think about, okay, how can we need to change this? Because there are certain occasions where the injuries hurt Barcelona, but they don't create. Still, they don't create. They still don't put kind of threatening chances. In Real Madrid, we saw for the very first 60 minutes just one of them. That was Pedri, then Rafinha, and then De Jong. Neither Lewandowski got to it.
Yeah.
So I think there needs to be some improvement in that creative aspect as well. Because when you take a look at the long term of things, yes, Barcelona played good. They did play good at the start of the season, but maybe it's not as reliable or sustainable as we initially thought.
Yeah. Yeah, good points, Buga. You mentioned a couple of names there that are getting a lot of criticism, and Xavi for putting them in the lineup. Busquets and Roberto. Pablo, talk to me about your analysis, your take. Are they to blame? Should Xavi have benched them? What are your thoughts?
I think Buga made really, really good points, actually, in terms of Xavi wants to have this ideal setup, and it's quite clear Xavi's still... Well, I think he's still quite happy. I think Laporta was the same as well, by the way, to have these four captains around almost as this fairy tale that they were going to win trophies together. That's nonsense. That's real nonsense. I mean, we know that now, obviously. I mean, Piqué and Alba barely play, so neither does Roberto really. But I mean, it's just not on. I mean, for Roberto, what can Xavi do is the only thing I would say about the Clásico. No Christensen, no Araujo. We didn't sign Azpilicueta in the end. You know, if Bellerin was fit, I don't know who I'd rather at right back, Bellerin or Roberto, to be honest. So with Roberto, I don't know what to say, to be honest. Busquets in midfield, he's still the one for me who I think is kind of fair enough that he's still playing for Spain and Barca. I'm still a Busquets defender, to be honest. I don't really think there's someone better than him in that position, in that role. But you guys are right. I mean, he is slowing down, I have to say that. And maybe it is time for Barca to start adapting the midfield. So in that regard, I mean, I don't know what to think about Xavi, but I have to say that I agree with what Bulgad said in terms of that Xavi is still set on playing these sorts of players. But I got to say, and I have to say this now, my feeling of the past few days for Barcelona is that I'm fuming. I'm furious. I think it's completely unacceptable what's happened in the last few days, by the way. And I know it's been spoken about. I know it's been the whole drama, and I don't want to ignite the fire even more. But I think it has to be said that, in my opinion, this is completely unacceptable. Mainly the Champions League. I think this is utterly impossible for Barcelona to go to the Europa League this season, and we've done it. I think that is literally impossible. You cannot do that summer. The whole point of the summer was, oh, we're going to do all of this bad stuff. But look, it's going to get us titles. Well, we've gone to the Europa League before we've even got to mid-October. Are you actually kidding me? That doesn't go through my head, and I don't think it goes through the players' heads either. And that's why I knew when we rocked up to the Clásico on Sunday, that's a broken team, because that is going to really sting. That is going to sting now. That's going to take the season. You can't go out of the Champions League in October when you're having this amazing revolutionary season. It just doesn't work mentally for the players and for the coaches. It won't work. And that's a huge slip up in the Barca project. Massive slip up. And we saw that when the group was drawn, we thought, oh, crap. If we go out here, we're in trouble. Well, we have gone out. We can't cope in big games. And I'll leave it now because I'll rant more in some other points. But in my opinion, it has to be said, I think it's unacceptable the last few days. Unacceptable. And I'll go more into tactics and what I think about Xavi in big games and stuff in a moment. I'll hand over to you now, John. But in my opinion, what we've seen is impossible for Barcelona to do. Impossible.
Yeah, well, Pablo, I think you got your finger on the pulse there in terms of what Barcelona supporters are feeling, is that this isn't good enough. I think, honestly, looking back now, full context, the criticism for Xavi, I think, actually came a little bit late. Like, I don't blame him so much for the results in the second intermatch, the 3-3. That some of that was unlucky, some of that's the referee. to me, the tactics were right in that match, the 3-3. The one where I get upset with Xavi was the one before that, the 1-0 loss, where we had nothing going on at the San Siro. We weren't producing anything. There was no creativity in the final third. That Xavi got absolutely wrong. And he did it again. He got it wrong against Madrid. You mentioned it. Roberto, I was ready to pull my hair out. I know we got limited options, and it's easy to say what he should have done now that we know he didn't make the right choice. But for me, Koundé at right back, Garcia, and then I don't care. PK or Alonso, to me, is a better option than having Roberto mark Vinicius Jr. That just it doesn't compute that somebody would go, yep, that's a good idea. I'll have Roberto mark Vinny Jr. That'll shore things up. It doesn't make any sense. So
yeah, I think the main issue that I have with managers like this, and look, I don't want to make the comparison about Koeman, about Valverde and all those things. I think Xavi still, even though I think people hate Valverde and it's not justified enough. Like I think Valverde was a good manager in no sense. But anyhow, like when we take a look at the things that you kind of sort of pointed blame at them, I do feel you can also point to Xavi in a bit. I think the main struggle of a manager, what a manager should do, is able to have that ability to have self-criticism and see where he missed the mark. And I think that, like you say, the Inter game, I kind of do not agree with you when you say Xavi shouldn't have so much blame in the 3-3, but because I saw some certain mistakes, I think he improved a bit. Like having Roberto there, act like a double pivot, have played a little bit further up the field. But there were other aspects that still were the same flaws that we saw in that 1-0, and I saw the same deficiencies in El Clásico. It's like he hadn't analyzed enough those games to see exactly where he failed. And rather than building a coherent team that can improve on the mistakes that they had, he wants to have the perfect team. I want to get to this point. And he just trying time and time again to get to the best team possible, to have the right system that works. These players pressuring very high up, the kind of one-to-one man pressure. He wants to have those very high interiors that can go and join inside the box. He wants to have all of this, but he doesn't realize that the tools right now he has at his disposal don't really work, that he has to adapt. And I feel that right now, maybe this October, of course, it's easy for us because we're not there. We're not in the, what do you call it? We're not in the wolf's mouth, something like that. There's a saying like that in English.
Yeah.
Like we're not there.
The wolf's den, something like that.
I don't know, but it's something along those lines. And it's like, we're not there. We're not in the chaos, in the mix of everything. And of course, maybe that can suck you up. And it's easier for us because we have that ability to see hindsight. And I just feel that's where he's having a little bit of trouble. I think he's having a little bit of trouble. Of course, apart from everything else, he's the right manager. And this is kind of where I worried a little bit about him coming here. Not because he's going to get sacked, not because he's the right manager, not the right manager to get us where we need to be. But I think it's a little bit maybe too soon still. And this whole bandwagon of people that just want to see results, it's kind of, you need to waste that energy first on somebody else. It's bad to say, but that's always kind of what happened. For instance, Unai Emery at Arsenal, you see different instances like that. And I think that for Xavi, we're going to stick with him for a very long time, hopefully. But it's not going to be as fast as what people anticipate, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. We got to be patient with Xavi. The Xavi out gang can get lost for now. This is a long-term game for Barcelona. So that we're very focused right now on what Xavi got wrong, right? Which is, I think, some of our emotions are driving that. But let's give credit where credit's due. What did Real Madrid get right? Pablo, let's go to you first.
This is gonna pain you.
Well, no, sorry, but what did Real Madrid not get right? I mean, I got to say, Real Madrid are one of the most deceptive teams. I think we'll say this in each and every episode, by the way, so I'd like to see if a fan finds, well, we say the same thing about Real Madrid every time, but you know when you watch the Clásico and you think, there are actual spaces here. Like, Real Madrid aren't defending that well. I think I saw a few times Pedri run into the box, and I thought, if we had this against Osasuna, we've been calling them crap. Like, they're not defending, but it just doesn't work against Real Madrid. It just doesn't go through. I thought like in the second half, Real were leaving spaces. I thought, hang on a minute, there's a couple of goals in this for us, but it never happens. I mean, they were good again, though. I got to say, I thought Toni Kroos was outstanding. I think they just have a way of managing football matches so well. They knew exactly what to do against Barcelona. I think it was David Alaba who called it exactly right. He said, we didn't have to suffer today against Barcelona. And that's what surprised us the most. And that's probably what hurts us Barcelona fans the most, because I think he's right. I don't think they've suffered nowhere near enough. And they're very good at that. They're very good. They have their structure. I thought they got behind the ball really well. They protected Lunin superbly well, who didn't have much to do at all. And then in attack, we know they're going to cause issues. I mean, Fede Valverde, who can come into midfield, track back, go forward, doesn't stop all game. It's just the perfect outlet to have. And I think when he's on right wing in the big games that you're in for a tough afternoon or a tough evening. You've got Vinicius Jr. on the other side. I thought Bentham Alex on hot form again. I got to say, Kroos and Modric in midfield, you just have to take your hat off. So good. So good. So Real Madrid, Ancelotti, maybe opposite to Xavi, he's tactically adept. He's happy to switch things up. And he's said that himself. He doesn't agree with just having one tactic. He agrees with adaptability. And they had that. So credit to Real Madrid again, who in the past 2 years, I've had to stop kind of like my childish hate towards them, because you've got to take your hat off, because they're doing well. They're doing well. I like their setup. I like the way they sign. I think Florentino Perez does a great job, and they're an imperious club. Very good. Very good.
Yeah. I think we need to give credit to Real Madrid also in one aspect, is that they are very physical. Like they're very, very physical. And people do not say that a lot. I think every single player out there,
they're really fit as well.
Yeah, they're very physical. Every single I don't know about you guys, but in the very first half, I was already, after the first goal, I knew there was no way coming back for us, because I looked at the way that the midfield set up, and it's like were they parking the bus? No, but they just needed to sit back and defend. That's all they needed to do, because Barcelona didn't have the creative spark to break them down. And it's like, you could see that. Barcelona, apart from Real Madrid didn't go for second gear. They just needed to keep themselves organized, because Barcelona were not going to break them down. And Real Madrid won every single duel, every single second ball. It fell to a Real Madrid player. And I think that is where Real Madrid is so good. Their composure, their match, like you say, their match management, the way that they carry themselves throughout the 90 minutes. I think that's perfect. And yes, I think we have to give credit to Ancelotti there, because I did listen to the press conference before the game, and he said how he didn't agree with the style of play of not that didn't agree, but he just didn't prefer it, the way that Xavi played, only one tactic, and he prefers to have players feel comfortable. And I think that is what Real Madrid is a perfect fit for, because Real Madrid, if you take a look at the style of play, it's just sit back, defend, one player produce a moment of magic, run, counter-attack, goal, incredible. One mistake, let's score a goal. It's like that. That's how Real Madrid works. And I also want to give a little bit of credit to Ancelotti. Put, first of all, Modric like in a free role at the start of the game, kind of like the center forward, and didn't allow Busquets to play out from the back. And I think that was very smart. And I think that's a kind of new lease of life for Modric, really, because in these games he can just appear, forget about any defensive contributions, just be the second man to have the ball, and then can start the counter onto Benzema, onto Vinicius. I think just that's smart. Just not have him run too much. Just be one position, mark Busquets, and that's it.
Yeah, you guys said it. It's sound football. It's textbook football. Like there's nothing genius about it, other than the fact that it's doing the simple things incredibly well. It reminds me, I don't know if this analogy will land for anybody that doesn't participate in jiu-jitsu or some martial arts, but when you step onto the floor with somebody in jiu-jitsu who's a black belt level, right? And you start wrestling around with them, from the untrained eye looking at it, you might think, hey, that new person wrestling with the black belt, they seem to be doing okay. They seem to be making some progress. But in reality, at no point in time is the black belt in any danger. They are in full control. They can even let the new person flail around and go crazy and attack, and the black belt just sits and absorbs, knowing that I'm going to choke you out when I want to. No big deal. We'll get to this end game. I'll let you do your thing, and then boom, there it is. That, to me, is what it's like going up against Real Madrid. Pablo, you said, there's the space, there's the run, make it happen, and it doesn't. And we're sitting here going, whoa, but how come it's because they're that good. They make it look that easy. They're not flashy. There's not a lot of flair. It's just sound football. And again, I give Ancelotti a lot of credit. And one other point that I'll say, and then this is the last time I'm going to compliment Madrid for like a long time, is that, Bowie, you pointed out the physicality. Not only are they incredibly physical, but they're doing it in a pretty clean way. Long gone are the days of Sergio Ramos, Pepe, and Casemiro, right? I mean, Modric had a little flail of his arm, I think, on Gavi or Pedri. I forget who it was, but nothing dirty there. So they're physical. It's textbook football, and they're getting the results time after time. It's so frustrating to watch.
Yeah, no, definitely.
All right. Take a deep breath. Context-wise, guys. What does this mean?
Before you jump to the next topic, I just want to say, I think that is what you say. It's all sound, it's all perfect. And the only way really to beat Real Madrid is you need to blast them out of the field. Like you need to put on a spectacular show and kind of play your own way. And that's kind of where, in reality, I'm just going to put a hypothesis out there. And for instance, I have a friend that if you're watching this, Omar, hello. And he always, when he's El Clásico or whatever, he always, or Barcelona loses or Barcelona play Inter, he always comments about Barcelona. And he's always like, oh, the Clásico is merengue. Oh, this, that. And it's like, when Real Madrid loses, we never talk about Real Madrid in the group. We never talk about it. He just always puts Barcelona on the point. And I think that's a thing that kind of Real Madrid fans do, because they know that they may be the best team out there in Europe, or they might be able to beat any other team. But the only team that can really beat them is those teams like a City, like a Barcelona, like an Ajax, when someone that can really take the ball out of them and just blast them out of the water. If you take a look at the teams that have humiliated them in the past, it's all teams like that. A team like a Bayern Munich, for instance, a long time ago, teams that have their own philosophy and can play it to 100%. And that's the difficulty of difficulty to beat Real Madrid, but then also the advantage for Real Madrid is that they don't have to every game play at 100%. And I think that's kind of, you have to give praise to Real Madrid in that sense, because it's just like people say, oh, it's magic. But no, it's the little things that you mentioned. It's the little things, the pressuring, they always believe in yourself that you can run that extra mile. And even this Clásico didn't even show that, because Real Madrid didn't go past second gear.
Yeah. All right, well, let's provide some context for this match, because it is one match, right? I know that there's a lot of eyes on it. It's El Clásico, so it's always a big deal, but it is one match. Pablo, what are the results? What do the results mean, I should say, for either club?
In terms of the Clásico for Barcelona and Real Madrid?
Yep.
Well, I think it will hurt actually more than the 3 points this one for Barcelona. I do. And I think that's because Barcelona are in such a bad spot, as I said earlier. I think that just being 3 points behind Real Madrid 9 games in isn't the end of the world. Of course, they've got the head-to-head to us now. It'll be hard to overturn more than a 3-1 win at Camp Nou, I've got to say, when they come to us in April, I think it is. But I think it's more psychological now for Barca. Like I said, I think we've had a bit of a hit in the season, going out of the Champions League midweek. I know we're not out officially, but come on. And I know that this was only just 3 points in La Liga, and we had quite a few players missing, actually, which we can't get away either, by the way. But I think it's more psychological. The fact that Real Madrid now will have that advantage, and I think they'll be now very confident to have a clean sweep season. So for Barca, next few games, big games also, by the way. If Barca win those, we get the season back on track. Villarreal on Thursday, big game. Actually not the worst game to have, because it's a chance for us to get 3 points at Camp Nou against a big side. So Barca now have really got to start winning again, because players need trust, and you get trust by winning results together. And we need to start winning again now. We really do.
Yeah. Bugo, what are your thoughts, man?
I think that, like Pablo says, it's a big blow. It's a big blow because it takes the players out of the season completely. It's like, what, there's more to fight than we just lost to Real Madrid. How can we really beat them? They start to doubt themselves. And I think that's what Xavi is kind of pushing through the press conferences. And I think he even is realizing that, yes, they're doubting themselves, and they're going to have a little bit of trouble to pick this back up. So the results need to come by. They need to win. And I think the best thing that can happen for Barcelona, and I honestly think we're so lucky, is that the World Cup is halfway through the season. I really think that they're going to forget a little bit. They're going to go out. They can come back. They're going to feel, okay, I did a good World Cup, did a bad World Cup, whatever. They can have a fresh, kind of clean slate and just enter the rest half of the season with a new motivation. And I honestly don't know what is kind of the aim with the Europa League now. It's like, you have to win it, I guess. But yes, it's difficult to pick yourself back up. And I think most of all, I don't know about you guys, but I see kind of two camps divided. And I want to ask you guys, like, I see the camp that Pablo, that says it's a total disaster, is a really difficult blow for Barcelona. I don't know which one to be on, which group. And well, the other group is that one of people said, oh, it's a difficult team. It's Bayern Munich. It's Inter. That could have happened. Like if that was any other team, you could have go and put the arguments forward. Like it could have happened. It could have happened. There are two good sides. It could have happened. So I don't know where are you guys, because I'm having a difficult time thinking about that or how I can sort of make my mind up. I think that Xavi is going with the latter. I think that Xavi is going like it could have happened. Two big sides. It's a disappointment, 100%. And I'm also thinking that message won't get to the players. I think that's kind of being very comfortable with your situation. And I think you have to be more where Pablo is to really get the message across. I don't know where you are guys right now. And hopefully you can give me some advice.
John, do you want to go and then I'll go?
Yeah, I'm also back and forth. And I think some of it might be because we are kind of combining the results of Champions League and La Liga, and we might have to separate those. Losing to 3-1 to Madrid at the Bernabeu at this point in the season, that to me, I think would be weighted a lot less if we didn't have the Champions League results going on that we're having. And that's where I'm ultimately disappointed. I try to always say to be patient, it takes time to build the chemistry and all that stuff. But the more I think about it, the Champions League results in particular are kind of where I start getting frustrated for sure. Yeah.
I got to say, for me, I mean, I feel like I need to be almost given a bit of a slap and put in the other camp because I am too results based in football. I think it's the Chelsea in me actually. I'm way too cruel. I don't know why, but I think Barca are doing well to stick with Xavi. I do, because we need this project, and it's important to do context. I think an issue is that we've had too many big games a month into the new project. By the way, I think it is. Yep. I think it's all happened too quick. It's like we haven't had time to settle. Like we needed like 15, 20 games. Then can we bring on Bayern and Inter? Then can we have them? And it's kind of like, no, 4 games in, you take on Bayern. If you don't win, you're going to be in trouble. Then you take on Inter, and we weren't ready. But the reason I'm in the other camp is I don't think it's good enough. I think it's unacceptable. It's like I said earlier, I don't think we can have the summer we had and go out. I think context is important. Like I said, start of the project, too many big games too early. The injuries in defence, by the way, I think is a huge, huge thing, especially in the first Inter game, the second Inter game, no Koundé, no Araujo. That's a massive, massive miss. And I said that even before, by the way, even before we got knocked out of the Champions League into Real Madrid, because it's an important point to make. But I just think in big games on the Xavi, the point I have to keep making is we're not good enough. As of now, in my opinion, we're not good enough. We're not tactically adept. Without the ball, we're useless. And I hate watching it. I got to say, it's not good enough. And when the reason I'm such like a Chelsea, like Abramovich guy on this is because when you've got a manager like Thomas Tuchel on the market, who is literally, that is his bread and butter, being perfect in these sorts of games, winning titles, which Barcelona need, it just frustrates me. And that's why I need to be given a slap and said no, because Xavi's built this project. He needs to stay, in my opinion, actually, and I need to be put in my place because I shouldn't go down that. I shouldn't go down that path. But I got to say, it frustrates me because in big games we are nowhere near good enough. We get run over, and I can't stand watching it. Inter did it, Bayern did it, Real did it, Frankfurt did it. Not good enough. Nowhere near good enough. Anytime, big pressure, big moment, fit European team. Goodbye Barcelona. That can't happen. And then when you've got someone like Tuchel who would stop that immediately and win titles, it frustrates me.
I do think those ideas both can exist in the same kind of in the same kind of camp. Like you can be bad in the big games, but understand also that it's a project, and at the end of the day, it's not acceptable. But that's kind of the hands that you were dealt. So it's kind of like it's you have to understand that, right? And I think every single Barcelona fan has in their own right the right to feel angry, the right to feel frustrated, and so does the manager, and so is the criticism on that. And at the moment that if they start saying no, if they try to cover up the holes, then I would be worried. But they aren't covering them. So I think that's realistic, right? Because like John said, there's still plenty of season to go, and I guess that I don't want to take your job, John, but moving to that question, because I just wanted to mention is that if Barcelona win the Europa League, win La Liga, and win La Copa del Rey, that's a good season. Like after look your smile, Pablo. You just
I love trophies.
He's a kid on Christmas right now.
You're a gold digger.
Oh yeah, no. With trophies, I am. I'm going to print out every single one and put them on my room. I adore it. It's why I'm so cruel with the managers. Bring me titles. It's what I live for. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Bring me titles.
Yeah. I'm with you on titles. I think we need to be patient. For me, a big part of success, honestly, for this year is going to be at the end of the season, are the players still bought in to Xavi's vision? Because we saw that was really what got Koeman fired, was once the players gave up and it was clear that they were not bought into his system, his style of play, he was gone the next match. So at the end of the season, if the players are still bought in, if the players are still feeling optimistic, and we at least get La Liga and Copa del Rey, I'll consider it a success. Europa League would be good, but that's going to be a grind. If you look at the teams that are going to be in that competition this year, there's some big clubs, and I'm not gonna put too much stake in us winning Europa League right now.
If I was Xavi, I think that actually would be like a good test run, like because Barcelona are not doing good in Europe, so seeing the teams that you're battling out in the Europa League, like which teams are there? Juventus. Juventus are in the Champions League.
Arsenal, who are clear top of the league.
Manchester
United.
Atletico Madrid, I believe, is going to be in there.
Yeah, I don't know. I would fancy a Europa League run.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But as of now, though, the pest, I'm expecting us to be run over. Like we were against Frankfurt. So that you're right. That's the test. Come on, can we not be run over, please?
Yes. Put some respect back to the name.
Yeah.
Put some respect on the name. All right. Speaking of putting respect on names, Karim Benzema, my friends. What's your reaction to the Ballon d'Or winner?
Wait, are we actually? Is it official already, or no?
I don't know if it's official, but I mean, it's who else is going to get it?
It's as official as Barcelona going to the Europa League.
right. Yeah.
I mean, as we speak, Twitter is like updating, right? And they are in the 11th place. So 11th place, Heung-min Son. There's still more 10 players to go. But yeah, I think Benzema's won it. Let's be honest.
Definitely. No, I got to say, weirdly, I'm actually quite happy for Benzema. He always played a secondary role, and I think he's been amazing for Real Madrid. And I think Real Madrid have had an amazing year. So hats off to him. Hats off to Courtois as well, by the way. I think he's been unbelievable. I think he'll be winning an award as well today. And to be fair, I don't actually know who else I'd give it to. So, you know what? I'm happy for Benzema. It's a good win for him. And I think he deserves it. I know Lewandowski's in second, a wonderful striker. I think he'll be second anyway. And Vinicius will be around there too. But Benzema, deserved winner for me.
What do you think, Buga?
Yeah, for me, Karim the Dream, Mercedes Benzema. I do really like. I think. Imagine if you just wear other colors. Like it's kind of the same thing that happened with me and Ronaldo, for instance, or Bale. I love those players, and as soon as Ronaldo went out and he kind of joined not Juventus but United, for me was that makes sense. I can finally admire this player without that bias of Real Madrid, and even there's huge respect to Benzema for me to be able to give credit to that player still wearing those colors and still for me enjoying watching him play. So yes, 100%. Karim deserves it, and 100%. Karim the Dream, he deserves it.
It's a good comeback story, to be honest. I mean, like Pablo mentioned, he really played under the shadow of some of the bigger names, Ronaldo and others, and for him to stick with it while those names have moved on and continue to get titles, and then of course with the France national team, that whole saga. That's a whole nother story. Yeah. And he rode through all of that to get to where he is now. So I think, yes, recognition where recognition is due. Congrats to Benzema. What about Gavi and his Copa trophy? Big deal, no deal? What is your reaction to this one, folks?
Big deal for Gavi, I think. Big deal because I think a lot of people wanted Jude Bellingham to win it, actually. And I think people will be quite upset. I know people in England would anyway. But I'm really happy for Gavi. I think he deserves it too, actually. I think he's been unbelievably good for Barcelona, and he's going to be a massive player. He's going to be a superstar. I know it doesn't take a genius to say that, but he is. And I want my voice to be on there saying it because he's going to be unbelievable one day, Gavi. And we're going to look back on his career unbelievably. So to get it so young, I think he's been outstanding for Barca. A really wonderful young player. He's going to go to the very top.
Okay. Buga, is there anybody else on a short list maybe that you would have gone over Gavi?
I honestly thought that Musiala was going to win it more.
Ooh.
I thought Musiala was going to win it more. I thought Jude Bellingham was going to win it more. I honestly was worrying a little bit for Gavi. but it's nice to see that people do respect the, I don't know, the progression that he's making, the efforts that he's putting, and maybe these last 2 games that he's been a starter for Xavi kind of have cemented him to be the Copa winner. And I guess Barcelona now have 2 midfielders with the last 2 Copa winners. So it's going to be interesting to see how that affects their progression and how I always do think in football, whether I like it or not, they're like the marketability, like how good can you market yourself? Mm-hmm. That helps you a lot also to progress and feel better, have more ego, whatever you want to call it. But it affects growth. And I think that Gavi having that, I was worried because even looking from a Barcelona perspective, I don't think he has that much stake in the dressing room, but he will soon more and more with this award.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised to see him get it, just based off of the stats. I think, you'd have to really pay attention and watch him play to get the impact that Gavi's having right now. So I think one thing that maybe factor this in is that it is voted on by former Ballon d'Or winners. So I think that's a particular audience and the way that they watch football and what they look for. So stats-wise, like I said, you mentioned a couple names, Buga. Musiala, Jude Bellingham. There was 1 or 2 others. I was kind of going through a short list of players under 21. And when you look at the stats alone, it's a little bit odd that Gavi got it. But like I said, the reason why I think he got it, and it's important, is because it's voted on by former Ballon d'Or winners. So, well, bright future for Gavi, regardless. Let's round up this episode, folks. Yeah. Let's jump around the European leagues. Let's go to English Premier League first. The biggest match of the weekend. Liverpool 1-0 over Manchester City. Quick takes. Buga, we'll go to you first.
Look, I don't think this is going to be enough for Liverpool to change their season. I was impressed with Mo Salah. I think we forgot how good this player can be, especially when finishing on goal. And I think for Manchester City, really, there's not much that they should be worried about. I honestly don't. I think they still put the chances in. I think Liverpool just showed themselves to be the Liverpool of old. But we have to wait and see if this is enough because they're currently in 8th place. Whether they're going to get back up there in top 4, I still do not know. I still feel there are some gaps in their system, in their team, and it's going to be very interesting to see how they develop. And it's weird. Haaland didn't score. He hasn't scored, and he has lost every single game that he has played against Liverpool, with Salzburg, with Dortmund. So, yeah, maybe they're kind of like the bogey team for Erling at the moment. Mm-hmm.
Dropping some big Haaland stats there. Very good. Pablo, what were your thoughts on the match?
Well, I mean, I got to say, shock win for Liverpool. I think people were kind of expecting City to run all over Liverpool, actually. I think people were expecting 4 goals or so for Man City. And it didn't happen. Van Dijk's Liverpool and Anfield record was intact. He still, I think, hasn't lost a game that he started at Anfield. Unbelievable stat, by the way. So for Liverpool, very good. Very good for them. Very good news. I mean, I know against Rangers, they got some confidence back with some goals. And then to beat City 1-0 and City are kind of flying with Haaland flying. It's a massive result for Liverpool. Like I said, like Bulgar said, I don't know if it will change their season, but it's big. It's very big.
Yeah, it shows them that they're still fighting. Liverpool's not just going to roll over by any means. And I think you guys said it. The Haaland stats, I think early on, he was on pace to score 60 goals or something like that in a single season. So that had to slow down eventually. He had to hit a roadblock or two. Happened to come across Liverpool, right place, right time, I think, for Liverpool to get 3 points. I think that's all that is. I don't think it turns it around like you guys said. But we do have some other results sticking with English Premier League. Arsenal keeping the victories going. 1-0 over Leeds. Are we ready to call Arsenal favorites now that City have dropped points and Arsenal continue to get wins?
Bulgar, are we, Mr. Arsenal?
Yes, we are.
Booga's been calling it for weeks now.
I'm gonna wait still on Napoli and Arsenal until I can announce that they're winners of the respective leagues.
Okay. Fair enough, Buga.
Dude,
fair enough.
Arsenal is 1 injury away to Odegaard, to Saka, or Gabriel Jesus, and they're done. Like, let's be honest. As they can keep the results going, I'm gonna keep faith. I'm waiting for that season 2 of Arsenal All or Nothing. That's what I'm waiting for.
Okay. All right. Well, more likely to win their league, Napoli or Arsenal?
Napoli
as well.
Napoli, make it a trifecta. Absolutely. I don't think I wouldn't. I don't have much faith at all in Arsenal. I think they're
Really?
overperforming. I think they're a top 4 club, but no way do they hold on to that title. Okay, that's out of the way. Last talking point, folks. PSG with the 1-0 victory over Marseille. Marseille? However you want to. Marseille. Us Americans, I always say Americans have the right to butcher any word. As soon as it comes over the border, we say it how we want, and that's how it is. 1-0 victory. Neymar gets the goal, assisted by Mbappe. Am I right, folks? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this Mbappe's first assist to
it is.
Neymar or Messi this year?
Yeah. In the whole season, first assist.
Ooh la la.
Yeah.
You go, Paulo. I just want to hear what's your opinion on Mbappe?
Yeah, I know. I just remember when John mentioned PSG, I was like, oh my God, we could have done like a half-an-hour segment on the Mbappe saga that happened earlier in the week. But we had to do a Clásico. Well, 1-0 for PSG. We know they'll win Ligue 1. Neymar with a goal the day before he appears in court, by the way, for his transfer to Barcelona with Rosell and Bartomeu, of course. But with Mbappe, God, I've got so much to say. He should have moved to Real Madrid in the summer, if not earlier. 110% should have moved. But now he's going to have issues because he claims he likes to just play off the left. Well, that's where Vinicius is. So trouble for him if he doesn't want to play centrally once Benzema goes. If he doesn't want to play on the right, then I don't know what's going to happen with Vinicius and Mbappe like that. And in terms of the way he acts, oh God, I mean, PSG is just such a circus, I've got to say. And Mbappe, I praise him a lot for being really professional and driven in his career. I always thought he wanted that Real Madrid move, but clearly something's going on in this guy's head. No matter that I know he denied it now, but of course he did. I know he doesn't like Neymar being there. I know he doesn't like Messi being there. And that's just weird behaviour to me. So PSG, just as toxic as it always is and full of drama. And Mbappe, got to get his head screwed on again. Make that move to Real Madrid. Stop pissing about and just get out of all this drama in the media because it's gonna tarnish your career, mate. Haaland looks like such a focused robot and Mbappe's in the headlines. So he's got to get back to the football.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a parallel between Mbappe and like Neymar. And Neymar left Barca and then this youngster appeared and he kind of overshadowed him, and Neymar started to be like, oh, I want to go back to Barca, I want to go to Barca. Then Messi arrived, and Mbappe, who was that top guy in the club, is like, oh, geez, now I'm not the top guy because Messi and Neymar together are so much more marketable that he's like, oh, I've been falling down the pecking order. And I think that's what's going on. I think he didn't expect that resurgence of Messi, for instance, or something, because now it's Messi and Neymar in every single poster for PSG, not Mbappe.
Yeah, Mbappe has somehow turned Neymar into the good guy in all of this.
Yes.
I don't understand at all.
That's a short clip. It.
Some of it is going to be the media, right? Some of it is going to be the media fanning those flames. But my goodness, what a poor move just from a PR standpoint from Mbappe. And Pablo, I think you said it. Just make the move to Real Madrid, stop the saga, move on, focus on the football like he should be. He's a tremendous player, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, fellas, who's closing us out this week?
You go, John.
Who wants to take the reins? Go on, John.
All right. We talked about El Clásico. We put some of our personal feelings aside and gave some objective opinions there. We even gave some compliments to Real Madrid. We, of course, talked about Benzema with all but securing the Ballon d'Or. We talked about Gavi and his Copa trophy. We did a little European roundup. And, of course, most importantly, did our World Cup draw at the top. We got lots of content coming out surrounding the World Cup, so make sure you tune in every week. Look for those shorts. We'll be promoting those across all of our platforms. That's going to do it for this week. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll catch you next time on The Engine Room.
Peace.
Ciao, ciao.